Hey Siri, can I use you as a bike computer?
I'm not sure I understand.
Let me clarify.
Just another sunny day in Southern California. It's where the people came to play. Don't let them transform you. Oh, come and see what you've been missing.
Good morning, welcome to the vlog. Welcome to Sydney, welcome to Balmain. Well, we won't be here for long because we're going for a bike ride. And guys, just look at this. I'm just so natural. I just ride so naturally. I'm gonna go for a bike ride and I want to talk to you about the feasibility of actually running an Apple Watch as your bike computer. But before that, I'm going to attempt to not die. And we're going to ride out of town a little bit. Oh, Unity Hall, there it is. Fun fact, Unity Hall was a COVID hotspot. There it is. Mainly due to the jazz dancing. All right, let's get rolling.
I'm too excited. Dark liquor with the palm trees. It's all or nothing. Ooh, it's all or nothing. Ignore the signs and socialize. Come and see what you.
Now, before I have I don't know what the collective noun for triathlete is, but a try of triathletes shouting at me from the rafters saying, Chris, what are you talking about? We've been running watches as our bike computers for decades. You got a little bit of truth in there. In fact, I actually kind of remember, I think it was Jan Ulrich at one point, maybe the Olympic road race, spotted with a watch. And no, I'm not talking about Julien Alaphilippe's very underwhelming $50,000 piece of crystal on his wrist. I am really talking about smartwatches here. I am talking about this new wave of devices that, well, smartwatches first, fitness watches second. Short answer is yes. Yes, you can do this, but it's limited. Like to the point, I honestly think there's almost a conspiracy theory at this stage. Everywhere you look, it's doable, but there's just like one little thing missing. Honestly, I reckon they all got together and just went, right, we're gonna make sure everyone has to buy all these pieces of equipment because there's not gonna be one thing that does it all perfectly. The practicalities of riding with it are pretty good, to be honest. Like, I'm just using it to just keep a tabs on my ride time, my distance. It's pretty easy just to do that. Like, have a quick look. You do have to take your hand off the bars to do it. You can't quite flick your wrist enough, but like, just out here cruising, it's quite nice. Where it really gets difficult is actually interacting with it. You don't want to be interacting with it. You just want a couple of simple metrics displayed and you can roll from there. Like, that's me at the moment. Nice and simple. Ride time, distance, speed and power. I've more just got power there just to know that it is recording. Do you know what I mean? Like that it hasn't dropped out. That's about it. Not that I'd know what to do if it did drop out, I might add. Shall we talk about the nuts and bolts of this, ladies and gentlemen? Right, so there is no standalone Apple Watch app that will give you what you need. So the proprietary native Apple workout app will allow you to leave your phone at home if you've got a cellular Apple Watch. However, it's pretty limited. Speed, distance, heart rate, but it'll give you heart rate from the Apple Watch, which, and stability wise, from what I've seen in forums, not particularly stable. So by that, I mean, you are kind of running the risk of the old fashioned, just did 4 hours, it's disappeared. All the other apps that I'll talk about require you to have your phone in your back pocket. So they're Apple Watch spin-offs of that app. So we'll start with Strava. Now, as you guys know, Strava got rid of all its sensor support not that long ago. I think it was back in May. Fun fact, heart rate is back for some reason. So, via Strava, you have a really nice solution on the watch, nice interface, lovely UI with all the Strava usuals, segments, blah, 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 but only heart rate. Only heart rate. Brings us on to Wahoo Fitness, which, as you guys know from the phone vlog that I did, was my favorite of the if you're just going to run the phone, but doesn't have an Apple Watch app. So it's not really in the conversation. Today's plan, again, has a new recording feature, works quite well on the phone, no Apple Watch app. There's a whole spate of them that don't have Apple Watch, which brings us to the one I'm running, Cyclemeter. So think of Cyclemeter if the developers of IBM computers in 1971 got together with a kindergarten, actually Catherine web designer. That is what you would have. An incredible, sophisticated back-end situation that seems to give you endless customizability, and the user interface of, well, the Sputnik. There's so much data in there. There's so much information. It's an overload. It's just a jumbled mess. A perfect example, I tried to do some stuff at CP around the chop there, setting some laps and intervals. Like, to actually achieve that on the watch almost killed people. People were like, what's he doing? Swinging out, fiddling around on his phone. So there's that. Oh, and then, so I should tell you this bit. So you can shortcut Siri, do a Siri shortcut for heaps of stuff. And so I actually had some success doing stuff like Siri, start a new lap. And brilliant, right? But as those of you who have probably done a little bit of Siri action on the bike know, it doesn't always work, especially when you're riding at 42 k's an hour. So take that for what it's worth. Okay, so why would you do this? Why would you get rid of the bike computer? Well, I'd be, man, to not be a slave to the numbers, to free yourself, to free your mind, enjoy the ride. Hell no. Says the guy with an action cam, a smartwatch, and a smartphone. No, I'm not gonna lie, having a really nice clean front end like that is really nice, and in certain circumstances, I love the idea of just putting the bike computer in the back pocket every now and again, not seeing it. A race or something that can be really useful, can be kind of fun. I don't quite buy that you would run this as a way of like freeing yourself, dude. Oh yeah, this one. To not have to buy a bike computer. Interesting. But I'll throw this at you. You own a smartwatch. You own a smartphone. You're probably a gadgets person. I don't think the $200 you're going to spend on a bike computer is the thing holding you back from doing it. So don't quite buy that one either. We've determined that we probably own the bike computer because you're a gadgets person. You're not freeing your mind and all that stuff. So what else is out there? Well, let's go the big ring, Chris. Come on. But I think some of it comes back to why are you wearing a smartwatch in the first place? From what I gather, most people run them like in the fitness space to like track everything, right? Like track your life, track your sleep, track your steps, resting heart, all this stuff. Going into that, it kind of makes sense then that you would use the smartwatch as the way of tracking your riding, to track your fitness. Keeping it in sort of one neat package, totally see where that is headed. And honestly, was probably one of my rationales in the first place for giving it a try. But why not just run the phone then? Like, why not just have that and forget about everything? Because I want to know that it is actually tracking. I don't want some sort of failed data. So I do want to be able to see that it is currently working. As it stands right now, it's not a permanent solution for you. It's a solution for a mate's weekend away, just want a nice clean front end, all good, record all your rides somewhere, it's doing it somewhere, you can kind of check in, okay, yeah, cool. That's one sort of situation. Off the back of our little camera test we did the other day, how about criterium racing? Get rid of all aero drag from the front. Probably you don't even need that. Like in a crit, you're hardly going to be looking at your watch. So I may have defunct that one as well. I think like my biggest concern from doing it is just stability, because don't forget, that's a lot of Bluetooth connections. You've got the Bluetooth connections from all your sensors to the phone. So heart rate, pedals, then you've got that GPS signal, then you've got the Bluetooth signal from the phone to the watch. Pop a set of Bluetooth headphones on. It just has you there thinking, spinning wheel of death's coming, it's coming. I should point out, whilst I have my doubts over just the general stability of it, I haven't had anything to actually suggest that it isn't stable. So in all my day-to-day usage so far, it really hasn't skipped a beat. I've run it alongside the Garmin a couple of times, but in the end I just sort of went, no, the power data's pretty standard, it seems to be spot on, so I haven't any reason to doubt it. And in situations like this where I've stopped, paused it, restarted it, haven't had any issues with it. That's what that looks like now. And I assume, I've done this a few times, but I assume if I hit start, it'll just restart. When I hit done, it goes from there. And what I have found is the upload procedure, obviously because it's connected to the phone, is super simple. Now, the Cyclemeter app doesn't connect directly to today's plan. I have to do that manually by exporting a .fit file. It goes straight to Strava though, which is fantastic. So the actual reason I started doing this in the first place was I swapped the integrated bars over. JC's going to run them for a bit and we'll get his thoughts on them before we do a review. And I put my normal bars and stem back on. Well, Felicia did. And it's like, before I put the bike computer back on, I was like, geez, that looks nice. I wonder if I could not have to run that. And that's sort of where this thinking came from, which I think is where my head is at. Like, this is a novelty. This novelty will wear off and I will go back to putting a bike computer on. That said, it's been an interesting little journey to see where this option is at and how far this conspiracy theory can go. Oh, 5G tower, shit.
Yeah, nah. In classic rugby league phraseology, yeah, nah. It's a novelty. It doesn't really work. Two main reasons is that app itself is so complicated and so clunky that it actually requires quite a bit of learning. If you're trying to move away from adding stuff and you're having to learn a new thing, just can't be bothered. really. And I reckon the other reason is, so there's something about the way that like your bike computer is your cycling life. Do you know what I mean? Like it's part of your bike, and you go out, you get on your bike computer, it's all like one little entity, and it stores your bike life. Now you do share stuff externally beyond that, but essentially that's the core sort of part of your bike. This is very, existential. It's part of your core bike life, man. Get away from numbers. You know what? I think you know what I mean. Whereas, like, a smartwatch and your phone are a different part of your life. God, that is very out there, isn't it? All right, I don't know how I ended up here. See, this is what a smartwatch is for. That's in answer to, would you like me to pour you a drink? That answers all of it, right? That is what your smartwatch is for, to be in contact with your wife and her request for a gin and tonic to be poured immediately. It is probably not to give you your normalized power for the third interval up bobbin head. Okay? Right, now I should get onto that pouring of said drink. I also do need to suggest that helicopters really only ever time their arrival in this part of Sydney with me talking to you. And I have been not remiss, but I've just been conscious that I have a few products to talk to you about. The Bell helmets I really need to talk to you about. So we've been running the Z20 and the Z20 Era. I do want to talk to you about those. Obviously, I have been running those Bont shoes. I want to talk to you about those as well. And yes, I know I haven't done anything on the Devel yet. I know. They're still not available to the public. I can't find anything wrong with them. So it's like, what's the vlog going to be? You can't buy it, and I like it. That's shit. Alright. I will see you very soon. This is a terrible outro. Can someone send me help on how to do outros? Bye bye.